Alrighty guys, we're back for Mono Blue Pirate Artifacts, and this is a Murders at Karlov Manor Standard Brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked, but first things first, this was a suggestion over in the Discord, so thank you so much for the suggestion. It's gonna be a fun one. Rocking a whole bunch of powerful pirates in here, like Staunch Crewmate, for example. 2 mana 2/1, when it ETBs, you look at the top 4 cards of your library, reveal an artifact or pirate card from among them, slam it into your hand, and be very happy about it. I actually don't think we're going to miss often on Crewmate at all, dude. I bet we hit like 90% of the time with this. Especially when we have so many creatures in here that happen to be pirates, right? 23 creatures, 17 of them are actually pirates, but then we also have 17 artifacts packed in too. Now there is some crossover between the two with cards like Oaken Siren, 2 mana, 1/2 artifact creature, Siren Pirate. It has flying and vigilance. Okay, I like that. So you can tap this for a blue, spend this mana only to cast artifact spells, or to activate an ability of an artifact source. Yeah, not half bad, huh? So these can actually help each other cast each other out. So just get a flying squad of Oaken Sirens on the board, you know what I mean? But we also have like a whole bunch of tempo artifacts that we wouldn't mind playing off the Siren after we get a swing in, since it has that vigilance too. So like keeping open like a Lodestone Needle, for example. 2 mana artifact, rocking that flash. When it ETBs, you tap up to 1 target artifact or creature, put 2 stun counters on it. Also has that craft ability at the bottom that I don't actually know how often we activate, but hey, it's there, huh? Other flash artifacts like Cogwork Wrestler here. It's a 1 mana 1/2, rocking that flash. When it ETBs, target creature and opponent controls gets -2, -0 until end of turn. Interested to see how much this is actually going to do in here as far as like tempo plays go, right? But realistically, it's just in here as another flash artifact because we're actually rocking Akal Pakal as like our main way to go ahead and restock our hand. So we got a couple of them in here. It's a 3 mana 1/5 legendary creature at the beginning of each player's end step. If an artifact entered the battlefield under your control this turn, you look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the other into your graveyard. So it's going to be pretty easy to get that ability off on your turn for sure, but then also hopefully going to be easy on the opponent's turn as well with these flash artifacts. So other powerful pirates that we have packed in, which by the way, Akal Pakal is a human advisor, not a pirate. That's important. Other powerful pirates like Kitesail Larcenist is going to kind of sort of be like our main removal. It also kind of leans towards the tempo side of removal though, so that's important to note. We have like Spyglass Siren, making sure we have artifacts on the board. Those map tokens happen to go the extra mile too. We have Case of the Filched Falcon as well. So when this ETBs, you investigate, so you get that clue token. To solve this, you control 3 or more artifacts. That should be really easy in this deck. And then when it's solved, you can pay 2 and a blue to sacrifice this case. Put 4 +1/+1 counters on target non-creature artifact. It becomes a 0/0 bird creature with flying in addition to its other types. I actually think this is going to be pretty good, man, honestly. Other powerful artifacts packed in, like Subterranean Schooner, is going to go that extra mile. Other powerful pirates, like a single Malcolm, should do a thing, especially with that flash. You guys can kind of see the tempo side of the deck, huh? More powerful artifacts with Cryptic Coat. Interested to see how much this is going to do. We got Roaming Throne on the top end as a couple of them as well. We got 2 Zoetic Glyphs to go ahead and power up some of those map tokens, right? But realistically, just power up any artifact, dude. A 5/4 is kind of ridiculous. Then when this is put into the grave, you discover 3 as well. And like all of our everything in here, we just don't mind discovering, especially with all these ETB effects, you know? Also on the top end, we have a Tezzeret too. Interested to see how much Tezzeret's going to do in this build in particular. Over in the mana base, we got a couple of Cavern of Souls. You're going to call pirates most often, but every now and then you'll call human or something. We got Scene of the Crime because it's an artifact land, something I actually overlooked when I originally saw this card. A Soaring City with a total of 24 mana. But guys, we're going to do our dandiest to save the rest of the deck tech for the end of the video. I know I kind of already went over everything, but regardless, at the end of the video, maybe it will end up changing up the build a little bit too, so look forward to that. In the meantime, let's go ahead, take this into some ranked, and see how we do. We got right into that first game, guys. Easy peasy. Oh my goodness. What am I expecting from the build? Looks pretty good, huh? I think it's going to be good. We'll see how we end up doing with it. This is a good hand. Opponent goes first. Yeah, I don't mind this hand at all, though. kind of got ahead of myself while going over the deck list at the beginning there. Hopefully I went over it briefly enough, right? For the last few weeks now, we've been doing our dandiest. I don't know why I didn't call Pirate on Cavern of Souls. I guess it's okay to keep back for now. We'll do that next turn. Anyways, been doing our dandiest to just briefly go over the deck at the beginning and then go over it more at the end. It's been going well, but I get ahead of myself sometimes. Okay, so we can successfully start with the swing here. Get that Oaken Siren down, right? We're curving out nicely, but we definitely don't need more mana for the rest of the game, probably. Ooh, Augur of Autumn. We should probably turn that into a treasure, although there's gonna be better targets too. We still have the swing in the air. We could go map token onto the Oaken Siren probably, and then Crewmate, let them have their Augur for a turn. That's probably okay. Let's see what we see. A little potential for extra damage, or taking a land off the top, that's fine too, right? All right, let's get that swing. Let's get that Crewmate down and see what we see. Yeah, saving Larcenist back seems totally fine here. Roaming Throne. Wow, look at all these islands. Holy cow. Okay, well, good thing we saw the throne at least. And with that 4-drop, we curved out really, really nicely. But we might not play Throne next turn. It really depends. With the Augur of Autumn and just Forests over here. Oh, Invasion of Zendikar. Okay. Really good ramp. We're not pressuring them enough right now at all. Though we're definitely going to need... Oh, Subterranean Schooner. There we go. That's a little pressure. Unfortunately, it doesn't have, like, haste. Could always tap down Augur to get through on the ground. We still have Schooner play for the turn, then get set up that way, right? I don't mind that. It's a little silly keeping the Augur around. But I want to get the 2-through on the ground with the Crewmate. And that seems better. Like, we keep Larcenist back for one of their bigger creatures, for example, right? So we'll get that swing. We'll get the Schooner down. And that's it. Hopefully we could do more in the next couple turns because they can start playing their huge creatures. 7th mana. Okay. Like a Titan of Industry, for example, would be a good one to go ahead and turn into a treasure since that has reach too. They would want to go token with it. Vorinclex, okay. Okay. Well, that's probably a good target for the Larcenist as well. Also, one of those ones, I guess either way, like Lodestone tapping down. Lodestone for the turn to get 2 through, but it stays tapped a couple extra turns as well. The big problem here, of course, is Augur's ability still sticks around, so maybe it still would have been a better target to turn into a treasure. That way they don't have that ability. I don't know. Really don't right now. Although Vorinclex into a treasure is going to feel pretty good. If we had enough mana... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If for some reason we actually had 7 mana to go Throne and Larcenist, right? Throne, call Pirate, then Larcenist turn 2 things into treasures, that would be pretty cool. Yeah, we haven't been doing too much pressure. More mana. Alright, well, it's probably Larcenist. We do have the craft open too then. If we wanted to craft without extra artifacts on the board, that's probably not something we want to do. Unless we want to turn like our Siren into a treasure and then use that as the craft target. No, that's probably not very good, huh? We'll submit 0 on this side. Or we could turn the Lodestone Needle into a treasure and then have the 4 for the throne. Going wide here might not be bad. I'm okay with that. How do you guys feel about that? And then, of course, Vorinclex here. And we'll power up the Schooner with that Larcenist since the Larcenist doesn't have haste. we will full swing. A good swing. More mana off the top. That is not great to see, but at least we won't, hopefully won't draw mana next turn, huh? We'll go Roaming Throne because I don't think Mono Green has a board wipe, and we will call Pirates. Might see more Larcenists off the top or something. Or like crewmates or like anything, right? Like a Spyglass off the top, get 2 map tokens and use both of them on our flyers could be really good. The opponent at 6, they definitely need some big plays here. Nissa, okay. That could be bad. What do they end up targeting here, though? Roaming Throne has that ward. Oh, they go for the creature. So any amount of tempo off the top would be terrific for us. With them at 6, though, okay, Scrap Gorger, they're getting blockers on the ground. Makes sense. Might be hard for the Schooner to actually swing in then. Yeah, with all this extra mana, it feels a little bit unlucky, huh? Hey, Spyglass Siren. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and use the extra map tokens. Make sure we plug it all in the air and actually have a chance to win this turn then, right? With 2 blockers on the ground, though. Yeah, I guess technically they have the blocks that they need, which is unfortunate. So hopefully we don't hit mana here then. Oh, Cogwork Wrestler. All right, there it is, guys. Go ahead and spread these counters out wide. And then swing in the air. 1, 2, 3. That's 6 to face. Very nice, guys. That actually worked out beautifully. We had a lot of options for days. The opponent's setup over there was super scary as soon as they started to... Hold up. Unfortunately, they didn't really end up playing much. I liked the extra battles. The Nissa was scary, the Vorinclex was scary, but we tempoed out nicely. I do think like tapping down that Augur early on to just squeeze by that little bit of extra damage. I mean, it obviously worked out in our favor as we had exactly lethal that turn, where it could have been pretty bad. I wonder if instead of a blocker on the ground, if they would have went -1 on the Nissa to destroy the Siren. Of course, they didn't know that we were going to be buffing in the air anyways, right? But like Siren could have been a decent artifact to hit. It was just a 1/2 though. Throne they couldn't hit because it had the ward too. Oh no, they could have. They had the but it wouldn't make much sense to take care of the throne on the ground since they were planning on getting blockers on the ground anyways. Yeah, no, I bet the opponent had some tough decisions there. But like they got the mana on the board really fast. So realistically, I think that could have gone either way. Maybe the opponent got a little unlucky there too. With all that mana, I wonder if we have to talk about dropping an island. Probably not. There's probably going to be a lot of moments where we want to do a lot of big things on the same turn, so... Opponent goes first. This is not a bad hand by any means, right? The Scene of the Crime comes out tapped, but we probably just opt for that anyways to make sure we have our turn 2 crewmate over the Siren. Or turn 2 Schooner might be better, actually. So we'll keep this. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, guys. Okay. Let's see what we can pull off here. Yeah, so no turn 1, enters tapped. This is a one of in the build, specifically for the artifact land, but it also has, for 2, you can sacrifice this to draw a card as well, so if you end up flooding out, that's not a terrible ability to have. Well, there's the untapped source. So we potentially could have gotten Spyglass Siren down, but we weren't guaranteed the untapped land off the top. So I think it's fine for the setup, but since we're up against mono red, we're probably in danger. Swinging for 5, down to 11. Not a terrible turn 3. So Larcenist isn't like particularly great against mono red when they don't have like Godric on the board to hit with it or something, right? If we just like turn this into a treasure, they're probably going to be pretty happy about it. So maybe we take the turn. Well, we'll have Schooner as a blocker, probably, right? And maybe it's going to be like Wrestler. Wrestler for a little bit of tempo then. So we'd start with Crewmate. See what we see. Okay, Lodestone, Larcenist. Larcenist number 2 might be okay. Any extra treasure we give them, though. Big thing here is they could pay 3 easily with a Lightning Strike to take care of Larcenist as well. Maybe it's Lodestone. It's a tough decision, guys. Really don't know what we want to see against Mono Red right now. Either way, we're going to put a stop on the opponent's first main phase before they actually swing on in to make sure. I just want to make sure I'm not going to miss anything. We'll have Cogwork Wrestler. If they end up powering up here. Okay, pass to combat, I suppose. Yeah, put that stop there just in case. Like, I don't want to end up missing anything. Are they just going to swing in the air? They are just going to swing in the air. Okay, so it's still going to be the same concept here. We're going to go for the tempo and go ahead and stop that 1 damage from going through. Like, we don't want to waste that 1 open mana by any means. It's funny that we actually had a pretty good setup there, but the opponent holds back completely, mainly because of the Schooner being able to block so well. I suppose a little bit surprising. At what point do we want to start swinging into, huh? Cryptic Coat could be good for the turn. Larcenist, full swing. We might die next turn if we end up doing that. Okay, let's keep the Lodestone Needle available, and this is another one where I want to put that stop down. We're going to go for Siren. We're going to tap down that Siren. For the Schooner, we're going to go for that swing and see what happens here. Now, we won't have the block with the Schooner, but since we have the Needle to potentially tap something down too, maybe I'll even swing with the Crewmate. Maybe, because if we get the 5 through here, like, we can start rolling pretty well. Oaken Siren's pretty good, actually. With Case and... yeah, I'm actually going to keep that on top. I don't mind that at all. What they end up doing. It's like they're going to take the 5. They want to keep their creature and any burn for our face, most likely, right? So with Lodestone Needle available, going to be Lightning Strike to our face. Yep, yep. It could be another Lightning Strike to our face. It is, in fact, another Lightning Strike to our face. We'll see just how risky that swing actually was here in a second. Oh, how risky? All the riskies. Crap, guys. Crap. So they bring back Lightning Strike, hit our face. We have 1 blocker on the ground. We're still in this, thankfully, with the 1 blocker on the ground. So I suppose we let them target with the Lightning Strike before going for the Lodestone Needle, right? So they do target our face. We'll go ahead and tap down the 3/3. Lodestone Needle comes down. Bloodthirsty Adversary still proving itself worthy of mono red, guys. I'll tell you what. Bloodthirsty Adversary, huh? Scary, scary business. Of course, we are forced to block on the ground. That triple Lightning Strike play at this point, right? Since they brought 1 back. Super scary stuff, man. So we have a swing for 5. No, we have a swing for 7 if we want. Of course, that does end up. They have a Foundry too, guys. Oh no. See, this would have been a game where seeing extra mana really could have come in handy. I suppose my swing was a little bit too risky last turn, huh? So of course, Oaken Siren blocking in the air really nicely here. Can always power up Schooner on the ground if we want. But yeah, we're just gonna play out what we have and hope that it's not gonna be burn off the top for the opponent, which I think it's very likely because we haven't even seen a single play with fire from them yet. Just 2 Lightning Strikes. Power up the Foundry. We still have 2 cards in hand. Okay, then it's likely a Monstrous Rage, right? So we're going to want to block in the air with the, at the very least, the Oaken Siren. Well, how do I want to do this? We'll block in the air with the Spyglass Siren, I suppose. Yeah, I guess that's fine. Then we'll take care of the Mishra's Foundry on the ground. Oh, you know what? Oh, no. Never mind. Okay, so we go to the blocking step. We block here. We block here, and we block here, and then we see if the Monstrous Rage finishes this. Holy cow, guys, we're alive. Commando! Wow, opponent. Good game. Jeez. So I wonder if they had the quest where they have to attack with creatures, which happens to be the most annoying quest, because by the time you actually set up with creatures, the opponent concedes, and it's just like, I just needed one more swing. That's funny, though. Yeah, there was, like, so much in mono red that could have done that last bit of damage, but overall, it felt like we had a lot of consistent options throughout that game. I think a 4th mana could have gone a long way, too. Maybe have helped us survive. Also, my swing happened to be very greedy when they had an explosive amount of lightning strikes coming through. Okay, opponent goes first, unfortunately. Can't imagine dropping the mulligan. Like, it could just get much, much worse, and then we'd only have 6 cards, too. I'm not entirely in love with the hand, but I don't think we need to consider this a bad hand. Also, we'll get to see how much this Zoetic Glyph can actually do, too. All human. Cool. Okay. Probably right into... Well, hold up now. I'm going to go Siren here over the Crewmate. It might not be a Brutal Cathar, so we might actually be able to use the Siren to get the Lodestone. Well, it's a Brutal Cathar. Well, okay, so we still have a decent turn here with Crewmate, and we'll get our tapped land down. Or I guess we'll start with Crewmate, because we might see a 1-mana pirate that we wouldn't mind playing. Staunch Crewmate. Okay, we're not mad about that. We'll go ahead and get the Scene of the Crime down, tapped. Intrepid Adversary already, too. Wow, the opponent has had a one heck of a 1-2-3 punch here. Gonna go ahead and take that 3. Actually, they ended up... What did they end up doing? They missed their turn, too, actually. Okay, 4th comes down. Glyph hasn't had any great targets. Let's get the 2nd Crewmate, see what we see. Okay, Roaming Throne, huh? Cryptic Coat. Oh, man. Oh, man, which one's better? Throne blocks better on the ground. But Cryptic Coat, I'd really like to play at some point today. I guess it's going to be Throne. That's actually pretty tough. And put a stop there, make sure I don't pass it. I have a really bad habit of clicking through phases and then crying myself to sleep after the fact. So I've been trying to put more stops and stuff. Intrepid Adversary. Oh, buddy. Okay. Okay. The adversaries today, huh? Showing their strength. Excuse me, guys. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and tap down the 5-3 adversary because they have that successful swing. Well, I guess we'll tap down the Knight Errant. Really good setup from the opponent. I can't imagine getting around this. They grab a Thalia and a Skrelv here. Oh, man. Okay, let's get that Lodestone Needle down. Tap that Knight Errant. So we could have potentially prevented the Knight Errant play if we tapped down before they actually played a creature. But of course, we didn't know that that existed there. So the Glyph power up the Lodestone, gives us a good swing, but then they just like gain 10 next turn. Well, actually, they just win the game next turn then, huh? So I guess we'd want to keep all of our blockers back. Get the Glyph down. That's probably better than the Roaming Throne. So that's something to think about, why we maybe could have grabbed the Cloak, because then when we get 6 mana down, if we survived, we could have played Glyph number 2 and Cloak on the same turn. Oh, buddy. Dumping everything onto the board. Still got 1 card in hand, too. Is this still a full swing from the opponent? I can imagine so. They're going to lose some stuff here, but like, are they that sad about losing some stuff when they still have a Knight Errant to play, too? Holy cow. Also, Thalia taxes the Glyph number 2. So the Cloak actually would have been taxed as well. Brutal Cathar and Copper Coat Vanguard. Yeah, the opponent's feeling pretty safe to go for that setup, huh? Oh, another Cryptic Coat. Have I been calling this Cryptic Cloak? You know what? Same thing. Totally the same thing. So we could go for the swing. They're not too concerned. They'll just take it. I guess we see what we see on the coat, because maybe there's something we wouldn't mind having creature-wise. It's a Kitesail Larcenist, but now we don't get the ETB since flipping it like that. So we can always pass the coat back to our hand as well. Either way, this is going to be the opponents, and we're going to definitely let them swing in. Unless they go for like 2 more turns of setup for some reason. Like, this is definitely a full swing, right? Okay, the Copper Coat Vanguard comes down. Brutal Cathar is going to hit the Lodestone Needle, but we get that Discover 3, so that could be an issue for them, actually. Because we could hit like a Larcenist and then take care of one of, or like the Copper Coat Vanguard. Schooner. Oh no, and we have to pay the extra 1 because of the Thalia tax too. Schooner's not terrible though. I'll go ahead and power up that vehicle to block here. They can go ahead and activate Skrelv ability on the biggest thing. That's what they're gonna do here to get the 7 through regardless, so they call blue. Oh, except for a face down creature doesn't have a color, so that actually works out in our favor a little bit. So we'll power up the Schooner using one of the crewmates. We'll block that guy. And we're going to take the time for the blocks here. We'd block an Intrepid Adversary, and then we block the biggest thing, which is the other Intrepid Adversary. Grab the GGs. Oh, buddy, yeah, they really, really popped off. I do wonder what negative we end up at here. -7. You know? Not nearly as bad as I thought. We ended up having pretty good blocks there, huh? So total deck win rate so far, 33%, but I totally believe in this deck, and I do believe that we can get it above a 33% the more we play with it, for sure. So let's keep the ball rolling here, getting our quest done, because I didn't read my quest, but I think like all of them needed us to play blue, so this happened to work out really nicely. Only 28 minutes in. Hopefully we have time for a couple more games, because I truly believe we can get that win rate up. Feels like we have a lot of good, I don't want to call it like interaction. I think that the better term that I would prefer to use is like a good tempo plays, right? We go first. Hey, that's good news. All right, let's try it. No pirates in hand though, but. Okay. Case of the Filched Falcon. I suppose Schooner's fine for the turn 2, and hopefully we see a creature that isn't Wrestler to actually power up with it. Oh. Glyph. Tempted to get Scene of the Crime down tapped. This is only a 1 of in the build, and I feel like it coming out tapped has actually been holding us up quite a bit. Unfortunately, right? But only a 1 of. We should technically see it less. Have we seen it in every game so far? I think we have. I'm not sure, though. Ninja Brute number 2. Okay. Okay, Spyglass Siren. Yep, yep. Yeah, some Simic artifacts, but they got all their 1-drops. Ooh, Cryptic Coat. Nothing we can do for the turn except get Wrestler down and swing with Schooner if we want to do that. We could, at that point, if we play this on our turn. You know, we don't successfully use the ability well. It would have been much better to actually see a different creature here. But this way we'll actually solve the case too. Hey, an untapped source. Could use that next turn for the Tezzeret. Without swinging with the Schooner, we still would have only had 2 open mana on the board, so we still wouldn't have been able to do anything. Okay, there's their glyph. Yep, this is a big swing for them. Looks like they're going to keep the Ginger Brutes back, actually. Spyglass Siren. See, that would have been so much better last turn. A little bit of a mirror match, kind of, sort of, right, guys? A little bit of, like, similar concepts and whatnot. So Tezzeret could, like, power up the Clue to be a 4/4, which blocks the glyph really well, or we just put our own glyph down. We'd start with a swing with our Schooner off the Siren and then still play the glyph. Or we could swing with the glyph. Okay. And we don't want to put the glyph on the map token because then summoning sickness. See, they kept their blockers back for a reason, huh? Alright, let's do it. Let's do it, bro. We'll keep the, we won't swing with Cogwork. We'll swing for 8. And we'll keep our chump blocker back just in case. Crewmate, okay. Now we're talking, guys. Crewmate could find more, but it might be Coat or Tezzeret for the next turn. I feel like it would be a little silly to actually send the Staunch Crewmate when it replaces itself so nicely. Like they're going to chump. Take 3. No, they're going to chump twice, actually. Wow, okay. Okay, it looks like they are scared of our potential to power up. Tough cookie. We got 2 mana open too. Gonna be Soul Cauldron as well. Okay. Start putting some counters onto the glyph and start getting that Ginger Brute ability through too. Are we gonna be able to outpace this, guys? We should chump for the turn while we can, first of all. Oh, they keep it back. Oh, man. Oh, man, I feel like that's so much worse. The opponent's playing very well here, I feel. So we have case if we want to swing in the air with, like, our map token, right? So it's going to be 4 in the air for 3 mana. If we swing with our 5/4, they probably chump with the Tough Cookie and keep their map back, right? And we still have more swings in the air here, too. Yeah, actually, that seems like that would be... So we don't have the Schooner swing. Swinging in the air seems really good here, doesn't it? We keep Cogwork back. Now extra mana. My apologies, opponent. Okay. Non-creature artifact. It becomes a 0/0 bird. We'll put that on the Schooner. And then use the map token. We'll make sure we're going wide here, right? See what we see. Roaming Throne. Actually don't think that's going to do anything for us this game. I'm going to send it. We're going to keep Cogwork back as a blocker, plus it doesn't do much here anyways. We'll see if they trade into that glyph here. We got 7 going in the air. They do end up trading. That's pretty good for us, I would say. We both get that Discover 3. Let's see what we hit. I believe theirs goes on top of the stack. Oh, they see another glyph. Perfect. Really good for the opponent. Power that up. Okay. Being at 12, we could die next turn. Oh, Akal Pakal. Very nice. Okay. Did we have an artifact enter this turn, though? I don't think we did. We did not. At the beginning of each player's end step if an artifact entered the battlefield this turn. Okay, well, anyone's game. period, dude. The big issue here is Soul Cauldron. Any extra... Let's see. Yeah, we don't have haste on the board. So Soul Cauldron, extra counters, use the Gingerbread ability, get through that way. If they power something up with Tough Cookie, that'd be a 4/4. They power up Soul Cauldron, right? It'd be a 4/4, that's 9. They would need to somehow get counters on both of those and then still activate both of them. Okay, they're gonna hit Roaming Throne for the counter. Plug that onto the 5/4, I can only imagine, as they want to win in the next couple turns. Make it unblockable for the turn. We definitely need to deal with this. That glyph hit was really, really good for the opponent. Oh. Crap, dude. Okay, well, we're gonna have to chump there then. Oh, no. Okay. Also, they have Tough Cookie's ability if they need to gain life. Oh, they didn't activate... Oh, there they go. There they go. Now they can activate it before the blocking step. Okay. We should chump the 5/4 for sure. We don't have 13 on the board. We have 4. Tezzeret could make... If it isn't a vehicle, it has base power 4/4. So we could do that to Wrestler. That will be 11, 12 damage. That's not enough. So we should, unfortunately, block here, right? Or do we take the 11? Because we don't have lethal on the board. But next turn, they're going to win regardless. Yeah, regardless of what happens, they have the 6 getting through. So we need to somehow find lethal damage next turn so we can successfully take the 11 here. Yeah, because even if we just take the 6, they just swing for 6 next turn. Or 7 at that point too, because they could activate the Soul Cauldron ability again. All right. Lethal damage by some miracle. Oh, wait. Yeah, if we see mana, we can power up the land with the Tezzeret, right? Because it doesn't say... Well, first of all, careful with the auto tapper here, right? Since the scene of the crime is an artifact. This is so sick, dude. Oh my goodness. And that should do it. Let's go. Exactly lethal. We saw the mana when we needed to see it. That was awesome, dude. Holy cow. Opponent, really good game. Very well played. Oh, buddy. I'm kind of taken aback by that, dude. That was sick stuff. Like, the scene of the crime actually really coming in handy as I was complaining about it entering tapped in all these games. It just, like, the fact that we just needed that extra artifact on the board, and there it was. It was just chilling, waiting to get powered up by the Tezzeret. Dude, I couldn't be more satisfied. We're going to end on a high note. We got the deck back up to a 50% win rate out of the 4 games. Do you think the more you play, I feel like I have a gut feeling that the deck list would land like around like a 56% win rate. You know what I mean? I'm not, of course, I'm not 100% certain on that, especially since like overall, well, I've been playing a lot more blue recently. Like overall, I don't play a lot of blue. And so when it comes to like the blue cards and whatnot, but yeah, I kind of, like, it felt good. It felt like we had a lot of great options. I feel like maybe, yeah, I don't know. Gut feeling says like around a 56% win rate after like a whole bunch of extra games. But maybe it could even be higher than that too. Because it really did feel like we had a lot of great options. And you guys could really see like the tempo plays and whatnot. And like the Lodestone Needle totally doing a thing when it needs to do a thing. The fact that, you know, it's a flash artifact, so it fits the entire theme of the build with the Akal Pakal, with like the Staunch Crewmate being able to pick it up with the artifact and everything, being able to use the Siren's mana for the Needle too, all that fun stuff. The fact that it's 2 stun counters gives you so many extra turns with that creature tapped down, so many extra turns to potentially swing in or whatever you need to do. For example, you might be tapping down the opponent's only flyer, and then we saw how important having these flyers are. Cards like Cogwork Wrestler, just being that artifact with flash, you know, it's okay. Maybe it's a little bit of a janky pick in here, though, and maybe we could actually go up something that would actually improve the tempo even further. Maybe like a couple Fading Hopes, but you are taking away a little bit of the synergies here because it is an artifact creature. It's also something else you can hit with Crewmate, which Crewmate just feels so powerful, man. Like, we're never sad to see this, you know what I mean? 4 cards isn't too many cards off the top, but you're pretty much always hitting with it, so. Schooner felt good. I don't think we'd want more of them for this build in particular, especially with, it does seem like swinging in with a 3-4 could be a little bit harder than I originally anticipated. The opponents seem to have really good blockers often, huh? Also with the artifact creatures, a removal source that we've seen a lot less of in the last like month or so is actually Go for the Throat. A lot of people are just opting for different kinds of removal as far as I can tell. We still do see Go for the Throat though, don't get me wrong. Kitesail Larcenist was excellent. What's really neat, of course, is when you're done using one of your artifacts or something, you can go ahead, turn it into a treasure, and just use it as ramp, which we got to see today, which was awesome, dude. The glyph was good. Do we want more of these? Probably not, unless we drop like a Cryptic Coat and go up a 3rd glyph. At that point, you know, again, glyph doesn't fit like, well, it fits the artifact theme. We can't grab it off the crewmate, so you might end up missing more. Like, the more of these like enchantments that you end up going up, like if you drop a wrestler to go up a 3rd case, because case actually felt pretty good too. And then if you drop like a coat to go up the 3rd glyph, at that point, you'd end up having like 6 enchantments total in here. So maybe we could rock the land that I can never remember the name of until I see it. Oh, Roadside Reliquary, yeah. Maybe we could go up one of those. Probably not, though. I am shocked at how much this Scene of the Crime came in handy. Like, literally, if we didn't have Scene of the Crime that game, we would have lost. We had 1 turn to pull it off. We saw an island, which, of course, we had a good chance of seeing an island off the top. Ah, that was sick stuff, dude. I definitely wouldn't drop Scene of the Crime by any means. I think the 2 Cavern of Souls is going to come in handy often, too. Of course, Soaring City will. Malcolm didn't see any play today, unfortunately. But just being like a powerful flash-flying pirate, yeah, you're not going to be too sad about this. Now, we don't get to see the ability too often here. When it deals combat damage to a player, you put a chorus counter on it. And then you draw a card and discard a card. If there are 4 or more chorus counters on Malcolm, you may cast the discarded card without paying its mana cost. We don't actually get to see that too often. I think there's a good reason why we only have 1 Malcolm in here too, especially since it's a legendary creature. It's one of those legendaries where you don't really need 2 of them in the build, but when you have the 1, you're totally fine to see the Malcolm. You know what I mean? Or like keeping the Malcolm open with a Lodestone Needle, and maybe you don't have to tempo out with the needle, and then you just get Malcolm down that way, which is a similar concept to tempoing out. But yeah, you guys know what I mean. Everything felt good, man. The Cryptic Coat I would have loved to see do a little bit more today, but it does still feel like a pretty powerful artifact. Maybe we just have too many 3-drops in, though. Maybe the curve needs to be a little bit more balanced. Also, the 24 mana felt fine, especially with all the 3-drops packed in. Should Cryptic Coat be a 1-of? That might be one of the main changes I would potentially make here, but what would we want to go up? Based on those games, you know, we lost 1 against Mono Red, where the burn was just slamming our face. We lost 1 against the humans, where they went so wide, we really couldn't deal with it. No amount of tempo could have dealt with that nicely. What would we want? I'll tell you what, that Tezzeret felt great. It's also extra card draw outside of the Akal Pakal, where you draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards unless you discard an artifact card. Also, let's not forget that top ability on the Tezzeret totally works with like our map tokens and everything too. The first activated ability of an artifact you activate each turn costs 2 less to activate. And there's a lot of different activated abilities, including like the Cryptic Coat. I want to call this cloak so bad. So it would be just 1 blue mana, for example. And for map tokens, of course, it would just be tapping the map token. Anything else? I guess the craft artifact, right? Again, I don't know how often we're actually going to craft the needle. This is an enchantment when it's solved, so too bad it's not an artifact. That would be pretty sick. Maybe it is drop a coat, go up a Tezzeret. Tezzeret felt really good today, and that might actually help the curve a little bit too, just having more 4 drops, less 3 drops, and still like the 24 lands still makes sense then too. How do we feel about that? Still feels like a powerful artifact, but since it didn't do too much today, but Tezzeret totally pulled it off there at the end, yeah, I think that might help the curve too. I like that. Guys, if you made it this far into the video, for real, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you. Make sure you check out that description where we got that Discord link. Remember, this was a suggestion in the Discord. Thank you again for the suggestion. Very fun. Always good to revisit pirates, you know what I mean? Also down in the description, we have that Patreon link too. If you're interested in supporting the channel that way, one of the main benefits of the Patreon is I always prioritize patron suggestions above anything else. So, all right. Yeah, good stuff, man. I don't think I have anything else to say. I like that little change. Keeping the mana base the same. All right. Hey, I will see you in the next video.